Hi, Dave Jones here again. We're going to look at a Beatles classic today. This one's called I Feel Fine. It's got a great riff in it. It's got some chords, a lot of dominant 7 chords in it, so it's good for your dominant 7 chord practice. It's got a nice little solo in it as well, which is fairly achievable for the novice-y sort of player. I mean, don't do it if you're a total beginner or anything, but it's not a massively difficult solo. So what we'll do is I'll split it into sections, the intro, then we'll do the verse, then we'll do the chorus, and then we'll look at the solo part. So, and then what I'll do afterwards is I'll give you a little close-up of the more intricate parts of it. Okay, so here we go with the riff. And that's based around sort of dominant 7 arpeggios. I'm sure you've heard that riff before. Okay, so here we go for the verse chorus sections of the song. There's 3 chords involved in this. There's a G7 chord, a D7 chord, and a C7 chord. Now, if you don't know these chords, you really should be checking them out on the website, because I won't have long enough on this video to go through the chord shapes as well. So check them out if you haven't already learnt them. We're going to go through the verse. It's 4 bars of G7 followed by 2 bars of D7. Over that D7, the 2 bars of D7, you could play the D part of the riff, which I'll go through in the close-up in a minute. And then you follow in the chorus. You got D7 for 1 bar, C7 for 1 bar, and G7 for 2 bars. And again, over that G7, the riff is played in the record while the G7 chord's going on. So I'm going to stick with the chords because we've already done the riff. But if you want to put the riff over those 2 places, that's absolutely fine. It'll work quite well because it's, like I say, it's based around arpeggios. So here we go with the verse section. 4 bars of G7. We're going to use the down, down, up, down, up strumming pattern. And what I'll do is I'll go straight into, it's a little, it's only 6 bars the verse, and I'll go straight into the chorus, which is another 4 bars, and I'll shout the chords out as we go. So 4 bars of G7. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. So D7. D7, I'll just do that quickly again because I forgot to shout out when we went to C7. Here we go, G7, then D7, stay on D7, C7, G7. And like I say, over those, the last 2 bars of D7 in the verse and the last 2 bars of G7 in the chorus, you could use the riff if you wanted to. Then we move on to a mid-8 section. That's the I'm So Glad That She's My Little Girl bit, if you know the song, which I'm sure you do. Now, what I've notated here, if you're following the PDF, is just 2 down strums on the G. The I'm so glad. So, and then into the B minor and the C and the D is the down, down, up, down, up. He emphasises those 2. So we're going to do 2 down strums on the G, on the 1 beat, on the 3 beat, and then we're going to go into B minor, down, down, up, down, up, C, down, down, up, down, G, C, D, then the 2 down strums on the G again, down, down, up, B minor, A minor, D, with the same strumming pattern, down, down, up, down, up. So here we go. 2, 3, 4, G, B minor, C, D, G, G, B minor, A minor, D, and then you go straight back into the verse section again. So that's your strumming part of the song, and now we'll have a little look at, just briefly, we'll have a look at the solo and then move on to the close-up. So here we go with the solo. I'm sorry about this. You probably noticed there'll probably be glitches everywhere on this video, but my phone keeps ringing. But anyway, we'll go through the first phrase of the solo, and then I'll take you to the close-up. And that's the little riff of the solo, and then that just goes another time, and then we go on with the intro riff. So what I'll do is I'll move to a close-up now and show you the solo part and obviously the intro riff that we looked at earlier. Okay, so here we go with the close-up then. So what we're going to do, I'm trying to tell you what the fingers are best to use as well with this riff here. So we're going to start the riff. This riff is a repeating idea that plays around the D chord shape, D major bar chord shape at the 10th fret, followed by the C major bar chord shape, or C7 in this case, the 7 chords, at the 8th fret, and then the same at the 3rd fret around the G shape. So what I'll do is I'll just show you it once, and what you do is you move it to the relative positions. And again, like I say, if you're following the tab, you should be okay with this. So the first part of the riff, we're starting off on the thick E string at the 10th fret with the first finger, and then we're going to move down to the D string at the 12th fret with the third finger and play that note twice. So thick E string, D string at the 12th fret, 10th fret of the D string, back to the 12th fret of the A string with the third finger. So I've used my first finger for all the 10th fret notes and my third finger for all the 12th fret notes. So we'll go through that slowly again. 10 on the E, down to the 12-12 on the D, 10 on the D, and then 12 on the A with the third finger. Then what I'm going to do is I roll my finger down to the 12th fret of the G string, play the 12th fret, slide it back to the 11th, then my first finger is ready to play the 9th, all on the G, and then 11th on the G with the third finger, and then back to the 9th. So that second part of the phrase was rolling down to the G string with the third finger at the 12th fret, slide it back to the 11th, play the 11th, first finger on the 9th, all on the G, back to the 11th with the third finger, back to the 9th. So the whole phrase really slowly is. And then what happens with that phrase then is, because I can't get the guitar neck in to show you all of it at the same time, it moves the whole shape back from the 10th fret, where we just played between 10 and 12 basically, and going back to 9, moves your whole shape back to the 8th fret, and you play exactly the same thing between 8, 10 and 7, 8, 9, 10 and 7 this time. So you're on the C note on the 8th fret of the thick E string, and you're going exactly the same movements, except everything's gone down 2 frets and you're in the C position. And if I can move my guitar and still stay in shot, what you do then is you move your hand up to the 3rd fret and you play the same riff, exactly the same. But if you practice it a lot up on the 10th fret, you'll be playing exactly the same things in the same order if you're using the same. That's why it's very important to use the same fingers. And you'll be doing the same thing between the 3rd, 5th fret and going back to the 4th and the 2nd. So. And you do that riff on the G twice. And then if I can just quickly show you, I'll show you the solo part. What we're doing here, again, it's handy if you've got the tab. I'm sliding up from the 5th fret on the G string to the 7th fret. And then I'm using my second finger for that, because my first finger is then really handy to play the 6th fret on the B string. So sliding up from 5 on G to 7 on G. And then use your first finger to play 6 on B. And then you're doing, I'll move along again, you're doing exactly the same thing, sliding up from 7 on G to 9 on G. Again with the second finger, and this time your first finger is in the handy position to play 8 on B. So if I can get that all in, it goes, and then back to 5 to 7, slide 5 to 7, and then get 6 again. So that whole phrase goes. And then what we do now is on the G string we play 7, 5, 3, move your hand back for that, and then 5 on the D. So on the G string, 3rd finger 7, 1st finger 5, move your finger back to the 3rd fret, G again, and then D with your 3rd finger on 5. So sorry about all the moving around in the camera there. I hope you got it all. Like I say, it's on the PDF, so if you have a look at that, you'll probably get it a lot easier. Thanks for that, and I'll see you again.